So an organic 6 marker and a chemical identification challenge. And this is a really common type of question. It's something you do need to be prepared for. To be able to do it, you've got to have a handle on all of the different chemical identification tests that you've learnt about over the course of the 2 years. So we've got 4 compounds here, K, L, M and N. One of the first things that I would tend to do on this is to go through and highlight what the different functional groups are. So I can see, for example, that K and M are both carboxylic acids. I can see that K and L are both alcohols. I can see that L and N both are haloalkanes. And I can see that N is out there on its own as an aldehyde. Now, to do this, to get the 6 marks, you need a minimum of 3 tests. And the idea is that you are going to go through to separate into 3 different groups. So you can then distinguish further. And the idea is that each test will narrow down further and further so we can identify precisely which is which. So there's not one way to do this. I'm taking you through one particular route, but it's not the only one. And you could do these tests in a different order. The key to it is processing the ideas in a logical way. So my first one would be to add Tollens reagent. I would add Tollens reagent, I would warm it. N would give me a silver mirror. K, L and M would give me no visible change. Tollens is not a powerful enough oxidizing agent to oxidize an alcohol. So we know that that has to be the aldehyde. And that means I've already narrowed down that I've found N, I've identified it, and I'm now really working on splitting up K, L and M. So from there, I'm going to take my samples and I'm going to add silver nitrate. Now with silver nitrate, I can recognise that K and M would give me no visible change, whereas L and N would give me a cream precipitate. Now I already know that I've found N. So by doing this test second, I've successfully identified that L is the one that we've identified here with the cream precipitate. I can then move on with a third test. And to do this, I've added acidified potassium dichromate 6. And because I'm only really discriminating between K and M, I can see that K would give me the orange to green colour change, whereas M would give me no visible change. And by doing those 3 tests, I can now confidently say which is K, which is L, which is M, and which is N. So to do this, to get a level 3, to get into the 5 and 6 marks, all tests need to be correct. There needs to be a logical sequenced order. For level 2, you would need to have covered all stages. There'd need to be 3 tests identified, but they might not have been perfect. Or you've done 2 of the tests entirely correctly and not done the third one. And to get the level 1, you've at least attempted 2 of the stages, or you've done 1 stage perfectly. So there's a lot to think about here, but if you've got the basics, if you've got those details of how we identify all of these different functional groups, all of these different components, the challenge is then simply what order do I do it in?